From the great halls of their house, there are assembled three who hope to one day be the world's greatest driving heroes. Created from the cosmic legends of the universe comes our team captain, the Vision, Bill Fisher. Their soon-to-be Wonder Woman, Vicki Fisher. Our Captain Marvel and head flight trainee, Jennifer Skripchuk. And our Batman, the master of tools, gadgets, and all things mechanical, our mild-mannered soon-to-be billionaire, Alan Danvers. Their mission, to fight injustice, share what is right and wrong, to get you out of your house and come out racing with them, and serve all mankind. They are the Garage Heroes in Training Team.
Captain's Log Supplemental.
Miss Vicki.
Yes, sir.
You know what?
What?
I've been thinking about this Sentinel system.
Yeah. Tell me about the Sentinel system.
So what I was thinking was, we have the one car that's got the aim dash that's slowing us down. Because installing the aim dash is actually, it probably is easy, but it's quite hard the first time. And we haven't figured that out yet. The Sentinel system is really easy to set up. So what I was thinking was, why don't we put it in the Lemons car? And we'll worry about the aim data information separately. And we'll kind of break it down into a project. Because then we'd have the motorsports video system that we really, really want, and we'd be able to stream it. We just won't have the data inside, but we have the data outside, so we can combine them later. But I think that's a really good solution.
So what does this Sentinel system do?
Well, if it had the aim data, it would have all the data on the screen, and you could see all their telemetry and everything live. But we'd be able to not only record it for viewing after the race, but we could actually watch our car during the race.
Ooh, like on the monitor and everything?
On a monitor, if you were at home and I was at a track, or if you were at the track and I was at home, depends on who gets the little short straw, but we'd be able to watch each other.
It's something I've always wanted to do.
And you know what? If you're driving, you know what you can do on the Sentinel system?
What's that?
You can communicate to me with your hands, and I can't do a thing about it.
Even better.
So, if you need to give a wave or a Jersey wave, whatever you need, we could save it and see it on the screen. And then you can have up to 3 different cameras, and it'll have picture in picture. You'll have the basic main shot out the front window, and then 2 cameras where you put them wherever you want. One could be on the driver, or one could be on the rear view. It's kind of cool.
Then we can upload it onto YouTube.
We could bore millions of people on YouTube.
I love it.
All right. Very well. You know what the only downside I see about this?
What?
Your mom and my mom are going to be panic stricken the entire weekend watching this thing to see if everything's going well.
This is true.
We probably shouldn't tell them.
I like the idea of having a Sentinel.
Well, luckily we have maybe 2. Depends on how things go. We're going to try. All right. That sounds like a plan. That's the project. We got to get that ready for the next race.
Sounds great.
All right. Very well. Thank you, ma'am. Dominating with Dawson. A listener question.
Oh, yeah.
Dawson.
That sounds great. Love to hear from people who listen to the show and see what they talk about.
Yeah.
Miss Vicki, I've got a prediction here.
What's that?
Ben's going to hate this question.
Okay.
His first answer is going to be, I'm just an all-around dumb. But anyway.
All right.
So one of our listeners writes in and says, hey, I'm looking through the rules, and how do I keep my car on timed, and how can I get something so I can know what's going on with Race Monitor? And I was like, we never covered that.
Huh. So I'm sorry, is the question specifically, how do I get into events that are being timed?
Yes. Like, what technology do you use? I can give away the answer, but I want you to sound smart, Ben.
Yeah, so are we talking transponders today?
Exactly.
That's awesome. Yeah, I can talk about that a little bit.
All right.
I certainly, okay, let's go back. I know that it probably involved some sort of technology. It probably was in some way sparked by Hedy Lamarr, right? Did you know that the famous Hollywood actress Hedy Lamarr somehow brought us Bluetooth or something or whatever?
Yep.
I don't know. I'm going to also assume that transponders work on some kind of Hedy Lamar magic. But it's a thing that you have on your car that checks in with a beacon every time you pass the point where the beacon is, whether it's a circle, whether you're making circles, whether you're making rectangles around the beacon, or whether you're making a shape that's a lot like your local road course around that beacon. But a lot of times the I don't know, I guess the track has a beacon, at least
I think it's a wire.
Yeah, so it's a thing where the transponder is something that you mount to your car. It might be wired to your car, or it might just be one that gets charged up, and then you stick it on your car for the day. Then you put it back on a charger. Either the sanctioning body has, or that you have to charge overnight, and you put it back in. The ones that are wired are harder to come by. They used to be the norm, but they're harder to come by now. A lot of these, I believe, transponders are going to subscription services and things like that. And if you have one that is wired, you're not bound to any subscription service. So, have you guys heard that before?
I have. Miss Vicki, what's your understanding of a transponder?
I have no idea. I just know that you go over. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when you go through a toll booth.
It's an easy pass.
Right.
Yeah.
It's an easy pass for racing.
It's clocking you every time you go by. Pretty much, it recognizes the fact that you yourself just went by. In the case of racing or timing, if you're using it for timing anything, it's going to tell you how quickly you did whatever distance you're beaconing. You know what I mean? Or however whatever your lap is. It's going to tell you how much time has elapsed between the last time you went by it and just now. So that's what a transponder is doing, is telling you how fast you're going or how long it's taking you to get around.
How long it's taking, yeah. So a transponder will automatically upload the data as long as the race has been going for a little bit. It'll upload the data to Race Hero and Race Monitor, no problem.
Yeah.
So you'll get your times. Life is good. You talked about subscription and non-subscription. If you're buying one, they still sell both. I haven't seen a new wired subscription one in a while. I've seen some that you can buy used, but they do sell subscription and non-subscription, the chargeable ones. We have a couple. And then at most, if not all of the places that we race, you have the option of renting one for the weekend or bringing your own.
Yeah, I think a lot of this, especially the endurance racing sanctioning bodies, will show up with a little briefcase full of enough transponders to handle all the entries they expect that weekend. So even if they don't run them all out there, they'll have enough there to make sure that everybody is covered, because there's really no way to race without a transponder. I mean, even back to my go-karting days, I think there was still somebody, I was racing oval kart races, and I think they did still have somebody as a backup up in the tower, like a couple of people up there sort of watching and counting and making sure everything was legit. But we also had to run a transponder in our cars. So that's kind of when I first got started with that. And you started thinking about, there are other considerations when it comes to installing the transponder that you can think about too.
Which we are going to talk about.
Okay, I figured we were getting there. I didn't want to jump the tracks.
Well, the difference to me is there's subscription versus non-subscription is how many times you're going to use it, and when does it pay for itself. The ones that I've seen recently, they're like $700-800 for a subscription-free transponder.
Wow, I can't even think of what I paid for about 100 years ago, but I still have it.
Yeah, they last forever until you crush it.
I haven't crushed mine yet.
Ours quickly paid for itself when you're doing 4 or 5, 6 races a year. $75 a chop, plus just convenience wise. I like, I'm a bit of a control freak. I don't know if anybody noticed. So I know my transponder is good and charged and ready. So, and then we have 2 on our team, and usually people borrow one if we don't need it, or another car from our team will race with, but whatever. So, one thing that I did want to go over is the transponder records your lap time, not necessarily right at the start finish line. The wire may be in a different spot. So much like when you were racing in track or gym class, run through the finish line, keep going, don't stop. I've seen that. I'm like, you dummy. And the other thing that people always debate about, which I'm going to settle here once and for all, is your transponder in the front of your car, the middle of your car, or the back of your car. Ben, which one do you want?
I would put it as close to the front as long as you can see the track. I believe the transponder little eye needs to be able to see the pavement. Is that correct? Am I
straight
saying that
down?
correctly?
Yeah, nothing in between.
It needs to be looking straight up and down and looking straight at the track. There's a little clear lens eye looking bulb thing. That thing needs to be pointed straight down at the track. And I would like to put it as far forward in the vehicle as I could, because if you put it at the back and your neck and neck with somebody going across the stripe and they had theirs in the front, wouldn't they get red first?
I don't know. Let's see what Miss Vicki thinks. Transponder, front of the car, back of the car, middle of the car.
In your pocket.
In your pocket.
Oh no, at the front of the car.
Okay. Correct answer is it doesn't matter.
Dang it! I knew it was going to be. I knew it was going to be. It doesn't matter.
What do you mean doesn't matter?
Right. No way.
Doesn't matter.
Get out of here.
Because it measures from the start to the finish. So unless you have a way of moving it, if you could have it start the lap at the back of the car and then manually move it forward, you could save yourself one car length.
Maybe
I'm not challenging you, Ben. That's
because it's from where it starts to where it ends,
right
in the circle.
And I talked to one of our earlier guests, run timing and scoring for many races, and if it's that close, they confirm with a visual. So it doesn't matter.
That's interesting.
Yeah, whatever.
But
everybody's going to put it on the top anyway, on the front.
It's kind of free. It's kind of freeing. I'm not sure I'm ever going to believe you and do it, but it's kind of nice to know that you have the option. I mean, I know
doesn't matter.
Nerds are always right, and you got to believe science. But superstition has gotten me so far in this sport. Just raw, naked, completely unbacked by any logic. Superstition has really served me well.
I mean, if you think about the amount of time, effort, and money we put into going in a circle and ending up in the exact same spot, it's not the worst thing.
I'm talking about special underwear.
Well, I know.
Superstitions.
I know. I'm with you. I've seen your
lucky
underwear.
Socks.
But the thing that I would say matters more for where you put the transponder is, let's say it's $800 to buy one of these bad boys. Don't put it on the front fender of your car.
No.
Think about that a little bit.
There are sometimes there are places kind of within the fenders that you might be able to find that will look straight down and see the track.
But
you can
I
manufacture your
you want it hard on a frame.
I want it.
No, I'm saying on the inboard side of the fender wall.
I want a little bit of meat between a potential car and my transponder, which, if it gets run over or smushed in an accident, that is a $800 accident without talking about fixing my car. So we kind of protect it as best we can. Inboard a little bit, always good.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I'll tell you one of the ways we've come to grief with a transponder before. We were at a race at Carolina Motorsports Park, and it was one of these things where it was a big scramble to get the race started. And I'm pretty sure this is the one race where Ian Korf came and raced the one time he raced the E30 he gave us. And so it was one of these things where it's like, all right, as soon as the race started, me and another buddy were going to jump in the car and go fill up gas jets. It was like, hey, if we get started, then we know we probably need to get some gas. Because we were one of these things was dicey enough. We're like, we're not going to fill any fuel jugs until we see this thing roll off. So we start heading down the road, and of course, I'm watching the race monitor, and I see our car stop. I'm like, whoa! We made like 3 laps. I said, turn around. We made 3 laps, and we're not making any more laps. Everybody else is still going. Get back. The car's still out there, but we're getting a black flag from limits because we stopped timing and scoring. So we had to come in, and already, like, as soon as you've done this, you're shot. Like, you race a shot. Like, even if you just got to come in and spend 5 minutes fixing a transponder, you penalty box your damn self and you're in trouble. So we'd already lost a bunch of time. I remember Ian was pissed. He was like, this is so disappointing. I can't believe I came all the way over here. This is what I get. I mean, because Ian's a real guy. He's not going to spare anybody's feelings. If something's messed up, he's going to tell you. And I felt terrible. And what we had done some kind of wiring error where we had turned wherever you put the transponder wire, we turned it into, somebody said, like a fusible link, something like that, but it was bad. It was not, the function was dead or whatever it was supposed to be doing. So we had to rewire the transponder in a not messed up way. And I keep racing, but it didn't kill our race, and it made a bad time for somebody who flew across the country to race our cars.
Yeah.
Make sure you wire it right. Yeah, I'm not a wiring genius, certainly not, but I can tell you what happens when you don't wire it right, and it's a bad time.
And it's hard
to
test.
do it all right. Yeah, you're right. It's really not a great way to tell if you've done it right or not.
No, just if that little lights go blinkety blink, maybe.
Yeah,
but
But anyway, you can be careful with that aspect of it. You want to be sure that you're being timed. So aside from my own specific story, if you don't get the wiring right, you might be out there starting a race. They may not see it. One of the reasons that they usually do at least one lap under caution as they're trying to make sure that every car that goes by has a transponder that's getting read by the tower or whatever. So
Exactly. And the one thing that, at least the brand that we have, it's got a blinking light, and it'll blink like once and then go black, or it'll blink like blink, blink, and then go black, or blink, 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 and go black. Each one of those blinks is approximately a day. I wouldn't, if it starts getting to one blink, I'm recharging it because
I got you. I understand. Yeah. How many days? Each blink is like a day of charge.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So I don't put it on. I'll charge it for 2-3 days, get it to where it's blinking 4 times, like fully charged, and then it's good for the weekend. I don't even look at it anymore. So that's
that thing pregnant.
Exactly. I want it full, and then it just sits on the car until the next race. So, unless there's a lap monitor for going down the highway through my trailer, it's not going to get any more laps in it, but it's okay. Any other tips and tricks for lap timers, transponders that we need to cover?
Yeah, it's the one trick I thought I had that turns out it doesn't matter. So just protect it and make sure it's wired. Yeah, just protect it and make sure it's wired up right. And I'll just say this: I kind of came of age as far as doing timing and scoring before everybody had a smartphone and lap timer apps in their pocket. So I really didn't know how well I was doing until I did put a transponder on my car. That's how far caveman I go back in this sort of thing. So I've been bumping along, thinking I was doing pretty well, and thinking I'm an instructor. I'm out there with the fast group. I'm shaming a lot of cars that should be faster than me. So I'm, that was my own measuring stick, was like, people seem impressed with how I drive, and I'm good at it. And I got it down pretty good. It seems like I'm fast because I beat a lot of other cars. But then by the time I actually put a measure on it and got a transponder in my car to do time trials with NASA, that was when I was like, oh crap, I could pick up a little time here,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to go chase it. I had to go chase it down, and I had to work at it, but I didn't quantify that or have a real understanding of it until I did put a transponder on my car. And in these days, everybody knows what lap times they're running the first time they ever hit the track. But for me, there was a significant period of time where I didn't care. I was just kind of getting after it. And, but then by the time I did care, like this listener and said, hey, I want to start timing myself and getting into kind of quantifying how I'm doing. That certainly sharpened me up, and I definitely got faster and better immediately because I was like, I need this time. I'm not letting this guy beat me. So it'll help you get faster for sure, quantifying your time. So it's a good effort to get a good instinct if you want to kind of move your game up.
So if you want to get a question answered by the dominating with Dawson superstar Ben Dawson.
Okay. Let's take it. Let's calm down.
Just write in garageheroesandtraining@gmail.com.
Please do write in. Somebody will answer your question. Please do write in.
That's right. That's right. And bonus points if they have nothing to do with racing. Even better.
Oh yeah, totally. Yes, absolutely. Ask me anything.
We need an off-topic dominating with Dawson one time. That would be hilarious.
I'll no holds barred. I'll talk about anything. It'll be crazy.
That does not come as a surprise to anyone who has listened to any Dominating with Dawson's in the past.
We have fun.
We do. Thank you, Ben.
Hey, thanks for having me. Good night.